back again with another Tripping on Bricks podcast. And my name is Abby. I'm the host of the Tripping on Bricks. And today I am with a very special guest and a stand-in co-host. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Shayna. I am the audio-video producer for Wavelength. And today I get to grace the presence of our podcast.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to join this interview with our special guest here today.
And that special guest is WWUaffirmations. Obviously, you can't see their face at all. They're very anonymous, but just like we interviewed with new WW voice, I thought it'd be great to interview the next big popular anonymous Instagram account. So WWUaffirmations, do you want to give yourself a little introduction? I guess we're happy you're here. I guess I did give you that introduction, but yeah, how's it going today?
It's going great. I am WWUaffirmations. As you can see, I'm very anonymous right now.
Yes.
Can't tell a single feature of mine.
Who are you?
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to get into the nitty-gritty details. So I guess the first thing is, when did you start your account and what inspired you to create it?
I've had it since, it's like coming up on 2 years now. So I made it in like April of 2021.
Wow.
And it was inspired by like, there's like a main like affirmations account. It's just affirmations with like 3 Fs. And I basically like, I saw that account and I was like, okay, this is really funny. I really like this. And then one of my friends from high school kept like reposting like NYU affirmations. And I had this moment where I was like, wow, this is really funny. I wonder if Western has one. And then I like searched it and it didn't exist. And then I was like, that's a bummer. And then like the next day I was like, wait a second, I could make it. I know how to use Photoshop. Like,
That's awesome.
so I did. And then, yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. And I mean, the next question I was going to ask is, what do you use? Because I thought it was like PixArt or something, but like you go like, you use Photoshop. So like, you got any tips or tricks for how you make your templates and everything?
I like, honestly, I wish I had tips and tricks. Like, I am in the graphic design program, so like I did learn how to use it through that. But I just use the same like template every time and I just like delete the text in the picture and like, oh, I guess this is kind of a tip. Like I use this website called Pexels for like the stock images that I use. So would recommend. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like, what is your like? So you use Pexels? You don't do like Google image searches? Because I would love to see what your like Google image search is.
I Google image search like for like if I want a specific picture. I feel like I used to be way more into like. I thought it was so funny if the picture had nothing to do with the text, like last year, and I still kind of do that sometimes, but like I feel like that was like the style more back then. But I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
So how do you think of your ideas then? Like, do people tell you like, hey, like, do they DM you like, you should make this, or do you just kind of you're inspired of like Western? You see people like, I can make.
It's funny. Like I feel like it started like I wanted to try and make the account successful. So basically like, I can give a really long answer.
No,
for
you
this.
go for it. Go for it.
Like basically. In the program that I'm like studying in school right now, we learned a lot about creating content for specific target audiences. And at the time that I started this account, it was during the pandemic. So I was like, there's no culture to Western. It's like really lonely, and I like really miss like the like energy that's on campus and stuff like that. So I use this account as a way to like try and connect with my community and stuff. And try to like connect with that specific target audience. And I feel like it was a really great way for me to like just like get to know the community and stuff. And like over time I was able to figure out like what themes will people connect more with if I put them in the posts and stuff. Like obviously there are Western stereotypes like we're all stoners and we're all gay and stuff like that. But like legitimately like I've learned so much. Like there is such a common ground between the college experience of going to Western that you don't think about when you just like look at people on campus, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like I've gotten like a really unique opportunity to synthesize that through my posts.
Yeah, no, that's great because I mean, the reason why I wanted to even like interview people, and we talked a little bit about like recording, but like the idea that these different like anonymous, or not even necessarily anonymous, but like people that make these really niche accounts on Instagram, like it weirdly like bridges our community together. And I feel like those are the ways that people can actually connect with each other. Because like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Western isn't a super small college, but it's not super big either. It's like, I would say it's like about in the middle, but like it's still hard to find, like, I don't know, find like a collective voice, I guess. Like, because like you said, there is like a culture here, but it's also hard because, you know, like obviously you have like friend groups, but most of the time it's hard to branch out to actually see like the collective as a whole. So I think that's really cool. And I feel like there's a recurring theme too of the anonymous accounts starting like during like maybe after the pandemic or like maybe a little bit before, but like during that time where it's I don't know anyone here, I don't know how to connect with people. So I think you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Because that's why we're interviewing you. I feel like it's very positive too because anytime like you've posted stuff, I'm always laughing. I'm like, that's funny because it's like Western.
You. Love to hear it.
Yeah. So do you know how many posts you have? You probably don't at the top of your head. But...
I reached like 100 posts like a couple months ago.
Okay.
Something you said like reminded me of a story that I wanted to tell. What were we just talking about? This is worth it. This is interesting.
Kind of more
like the culture.
You're starting like the culture.
Yeah.
It was like before that. I don't know. Never mind.
I might cut in while you're trying to remember, but like I do love the fact that since our school is like such a like liberal arts school, like we don't have really too big of a sports team to like our sports teams are great, but we're not like a school that's like that's our thing.
Right.
Like we're like woo woo go Huskies or something. We're go Victor Vikings. No, but it's accounts like yours start like our culture and like
thank you
like things that Western students want to connect on. Like we find community through things like
what
this.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, this is like, I hope this isn't like too deep for the format that we're in right now,
No,
but
you're
like,
good.
I feel like there's like a cultural thing of like, you know, like the Seattle Freeze and like people are just like not great at like interacting with people if they're not already friends with them. I feel like that like bleeds out into like this part of the state as well. And like, I don't know, I just think like community is such an important value to me and like, I'm very much a chronically online person, and so like being able to create community in person through Western has been like a really just like fun thing for me to do throughout this time.
No, I feel like I've been inspired. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna make my own because I feel like there's so many. Like, I've seen so many different ones. Like, I can't even name any off the top of my head, but like, there's like the feet, like Instagram account, like the WWU Dogs Ed, I think that's what it's called, or like objectifying buildings or something like that.
We
like,
love her.
I'm like I would like if I could go back in time 2 years ago to be like, oh, I should have created something because that's cool. Because no, like the way that I feel like so many people. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of I can like speak for everyone that like follows your account or follows other people's accounts. It's like like it's really cool to see that because you can. I mean, you don't necessarily like follow everyone that's on the account, but like you can see people and be like, oh, haha, like that's funny, or even you create some kind of culture where it's like that's funny. Like the one post I think you did at the beginning of the year, it's like tips for freshmen. Like that was so funny, and everyone was like following along with it. Like, yeah, totally do that. And like, so I think you've achieved what you wanted to. So I just want to give you like credit for that because that's totally.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So going off of that, what do you think has been your favorite post so far that you've made?
I think the tips are freshmen. Like honestly, that or I don't know. Like I've had a lot of fun like making posts that are not the affirmations format. Like I made like the like just Westy things, like the just girly things format.
Oh, that's so good. What did you mean by oat milk?
I feel like those have been really fun because it's like an opportunity for me to like be creative and like think outside the box and stuff and like kind of push the format a bit. But I also really like doing the affirmation posts because like I don't know, I feel like there's something about like it's like positivity, but it's humor, but it's also just like storytelling, like the college experience. I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like that's very accurate because again, like I don't know, I feel like Western has a very specific stigma around it. Not like, well, there could be bad things, but like at least for your thing, like it's not. It's very positive and it's really funny to see.
Thank you.
Like for people. Do you get any DMs from people though, like asking to make specific posts?
I have. I used to get like so many more of them. I don't know why, but like when I first started the account, I think maybe I was more approachable or something like that. But like I would get DMs like every week about people being like, "Can you make an affirmation about this?" And now like I don't really get them as much anymore. But like I definitely will make them. I mean, I only am gonna have the account for like another month. So like, but yeah. Yes.
When you started this account, like, it's been, oh my gosh, like 2 years now, which is like crazy to think about. did you know that, or like, okay, now I'm like fumbling on my words, like, did you realize how much of an impact you're gonna make? Or like when you created it, were you thinking like, oh, I'm actually gonna get a big following, you know?
I wasn't. I was like, if I get to 100 followers, I'm gonna be happy. Like, and I was getting like 20 likes per post for the first like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 posts I made, and I was like, I was still having a great time. I had like, I had 2 friends who also ran Western accounts, like of their own volition, and had already told me about it, like when I started this account, and so they were the 2 people who I told first.
Right.
And so like, I don't know, it was fun to like join that scene, and then I started being like, wait, I can be like creative with this and also like share my personal experiences and stuff. I think that like kind of goes back to the question you asked about where do you get ideas for your posts. A lot of it is like me just like trying to reflect on my experience going to college here.
Okay,
And also trying to make content that I think the people will connect with. Like, this is something that I've taken into my art as well. For the purposes of this interview, I also make art. But I'm anonymous and nobody knows who I am, so.
Well, we can do a little
Who
plug.
are you?
Yeah, who are you?
I mean, we could do a plug. I don't want to do a plug. I'm sorry, I don't.
That's okay.
I don't know where I was going with that.
What you get inspiration from ideas from people.
Like, it's been a good way just to, like, I don't know, get good experience, like, connecting with a specific audience of people who have, like, had similar experiences to me, but also being able to connect with a bigger audience than just my own very individual personal experience.
And is it true that all of the anonymous accounts, or at least some of them, have, like, a big group chat together where you all talk?
I mean, we don't talk in it anymore,
Oh, okay.
but we did for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, like, bounce off ideas with different people then? Like,
Yeah.
in that? Okay.
Mostly I talk to, like, I talk to the voice and the back the most.
I asked them earlier about new WW voice and your guys' like connection. You said though the only thing you guys really talk about, right, is your accounts.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I have like any like reflection on like I just message them like, isn't it so weird to like run a Western account? Like, that's basically
so
like
funny.
a summary of the conversations we have.
It's like the meta, like, thinking, like, oh my god, like, I'm
No,
a
because it's like,
person.
it's weird to like walk around campus and see people that you know from the internet, but you can't talk to them because
Right.
like
because they don't
know
Yeah.
you. It's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like the other side of a parasocial relationship. I don't know.
That's crazy.
It's
You are
interesting.
the celebrity.
I was just saying, do you feel like a celebrity, or do you even has it ever come up in conversation, like someone talking about
Yeah.
WWF, or like, did you see this post by blah blah blah?
No, I really wish it had. I've had like new voice come up in conversation with me before, but not my own. But I've also like, I don't know, like I've told like most of my friends, so like it makes sense. What was your other question?
Do you feel like a celebrity at all?
Like sometimes, but then I have to like calm myself down and be like, okay, you seem a little delusional, like chill. But yeah.
That's
Ego check. Yeah.
yeah, because like I'm just imagining, like you walking through the Red Square and being like, I know that person.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
really weird.
It is scary.
Yeah, and they're like some really cool people that I'm like, I could be friends with them, but like, I don't know how to be like, your Instagram is cool. What's up? Like, I don't know.
Do you stalk people through?
I have before, but I don't know. I try to like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But also like,
who hasn't, you know?
Yeah.
I've had like my friends ask like, hey, this person has a private account, but you follow them on that account. Can I like look at their posts?
That's so funny.
I know.
Oh my god. And what do your friends say when they're like, oh, it's you? Or like, has there been a moment where someone's had that reaction before?
There was a really cute moment where I told like my roommates are cool, but we're not like the closest friends, but like we all get along well and stuff like that. And so I was like, when am I gonna tell them? Like, I feel like it's weird that they don't know, but I can't just be like, walk into the room and be like, by the way, I am WWUaffirmations. But I was like, one day I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I want them to know. So I literally just walked in and I was like, can I do something really like spontaneous? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, do you know the account like WWUaffirmations? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I run it. And they're like besties. They like looked at each other and they both screamed. And it was really cute. Like, I don't know. I love them. They're sweet.
That's great.
crazy.
Have you, okay, so I know you wanted to talk about your pranks a little bit. You're a little bit of a prankster.
Yeah, I'm putting that away.
This is like one of like the goofiest parts and like one of the funnest things that I've done. I don't know, like potentially one of my favorite things that I've done at Western is like I did this like thing last year where I printed out like a fuck ton of posters that I designed, and it was on April Fool's Day, and I got like a bunch of like the other meme accounts to like gather together on campus at night, and like some of them were like, I want to be anonymous. And so they wore masks and stuff like that, and like they wore like some of them didn't and stuff, and we like split into like 3 groups of like 4 people each, and we all like went to like different parts of campus, and I gave them tape and stuff, and so like the idea was like put the posters in like weird locations that you have to like maybe like climb on something to get, or like, you know, something like that. I don't know. It was fun, and I like climbing on shit. I don't know. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like I made a bunch of people climb on shit on campus? So that was the idea. And then I also did emo day, which I was just kind of like,
I remember that being a thing.
That was kind of like me testing my power. I don't know if that's like, yeah, but I was like, how many people would do it if I just like put up posters that said like, because I know how to design stuff. I'm like, if I just like put up a poster that says like wear all black and eyeliner, how many people would do it? And like, I had like a pretty good amount of people show up, and honestly for me that was about like encouraging self-expression, because like okay, this is so like fake deep, but like the term emo can mean a lot of things, and I wanted to see people's interpretations of it. And it was cool to see like the variety. I don't know.
What emo are you?
I don't know. I just like wore my favorite black skirt, my favorite black top, and then like my favorite black shoes, and then I like did like makeup and stuff. I don't know.
I feel like I dress up like that too. I'm like, I just think like black.
So many people like slayed so hard, and it was so fun. Like that is one of my favorite like art projects that I've done on campus.
That's cool. What other? You said you've done other pranks too, right? Like.
I mean, those are the 2 main ones. I also like this was like technically the first thing I did, but I just like printed out like a bunch of like physical affirmations, and then like ran around campus at night with one of my friends and like taped them on random buildings and stuff. I don't know, it was very weird of me to do that, but like it was fun like getting people like send me DMs and stuff like I found one, and like people like I couldn't find any. I don't know, that's kind of what inspired like the poster prank, and then the poster prank inspired emo day, because I was like, I want to see people in person. I was like, it's so weird to have this following and not have like any concrete evidence of it, you know what I mean? Like, be like, I know that like 1/5 of my college campus follows the posts that I make, but I don't physically know any of them in person except for the people I'm already friends with. So like that kind of led me to like feeling like weird and dissociated on campus, which I don't know. That's why I was like, I want to do some like in-person goofy little things. I don't know. And then I've also tried to like make friendships through this account, and I've like met some really cool people through that.
That's
great. Awesome. Again, it's the connections. Through making this account.
The community.
It's all about the community.
Yes.
Literally. Are you gonna do another like dress up theme
oh
day?
My God.
Or another day? Anarchy day.
I was gonna say, are you gonna do like a?
Don't do
no,
that.
no. I was gonna go off of what you're saying. Like, are you gonna do anything big before you graduate? Because you graduate at the end of this quarter, right?
I do.
Okay.
The stickers was kind of that for me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll do another day just because it was like so hard to plan. It required like a lot of work. Like it took time to like design the poster and like to like organize everyone meeting up and putting them up and stuff like that. It was really fun though, and I feel like I'm gonna look back on that when I'm like 80 and be like, I'm a cool person.
Right? No,
when you're remember when I was WWUaffirmations? Like
you're gonna tell your grandkids or something and be like come around a campfire, like.
What's that one meme where it's like, Grandma, stop, or it's like, we're gonna come around and like I'm gonna tell you the story for like the millionth time. I don't know what that.
Like,
look
at my iPhone.
No, exactly, it's like
this is me.
You just show them the account and like, Grandma, stop! Oh my God, like. You've told us this story like millions of times. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're gonna put this on your resume, right? You mentioned that, right? Or you're like,
I did, because I'm like I'm trying to get a job in like graphic design. I feel like I've said that so many times, so I'm sorry. But like,
you're good.
If anyone watching this wants to hire me, let me know. No, but like I feel like I actually like got a lot of good experience just like making graphics specifically for a specific target audience and also like building a following on social media. I don't know, people hire graphic designers to make social media accounts for their companies, so like I have experience doing that now.
No, that'll be really cool. And imagine like if someone's looking at your resume like, what is this? And like, you have to explain it in like
I know.
That'd be so cool though, because it's like that's so unique. So like
I got the opportunity to like do that. One of my one of my favorite professors knows about this account, and we had like a cinematography workshop where he brought in like a professional cinematographer to lead the workshop, and I just happened to be in the classroom before the workshop started, and like I was like figuring out what to write on my resume about this account, and I was like, Austin, my professor, I was like, can I read you like what I put on my resume to describe like WWUaffirmations? And he was like, sure. And then he started telling Scott about it. And I was like, no, don't tell Scott. Like, Scott, you tell me if this makes sense to you as like a professional in the creative industry. Like, would this make me seem more hireable? And he said, yeah. So
it is unique. That's really cool. I'm like,
thank you.
I should start an Instagram account. Guys, tell me what I should do.
You absolutely should put doing Wavelength on your resume. Because like, you probably are going to, but like,
I interview anonymous accounts. You know, be like, huh? That works.
I am Wavelength.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Wavelength is
So
great.
true.
With these awesome costumes hiding our face, right?
Yeah,
They can't
who
see us
are
at
we?
all.
it's a metaphor for the masks that we all wear as a society.
So true. Oh my
in
gosh.
a way.
Fish, cat,
Cat.
It says a lot. I don't know what I am.
jokester, prankster.
Prankster.
Band
Yeah,
kid.
so true.
Yeah.
Oh, also I have these little mouths
Yeah.
to use like to symbolize when I'm talking, but
Yeah.
I haven't been using them. So
Well, as your account, or as you're going to be graduating in these next couple weeks, do you have any thoughts, I guess, to like, I mean, I guess this entire thing has been kind of like an ode to your account, but like, any lasting thoughts and like reflections on, you know, being this person for the past couple years, and, you know.
I'm gonna miss it so much. Oh my god, it was so fun. I feel like this is like one of my favorite like personal projects I've ever done as an artist. And also just like keep making silly content. I don't know, like
Yeah.
I love seeing the other Western accounts. Like it's really fun to see, and like I don't know, it's just been fun to like see how the culture has been like grown and stuff. I don't know, like I got to Western in 2018, so like that was kind of a long time ago. I feel like the culture back then was like sort of different, and I can tell how it's changed with like the new student body and stuff like that, and like I don't know, it's just fun to like see over time.
So if we have another anonymous Western account, who would you, well, I guess, who's your favorite other Western anonymous account? If you had to choose one.
That's so hard. Oh my god.
I know there's so many, I can't even keep up anymore.
The feed account.
The dogs account.
Yeah, we know your secret.
I don't know.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know. I don't know.
playing,
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, if you would love to see anyone else maybe be interviewed, do you have an idea about maybe, or I guess even you could just choose it personality-wise if you like kind of know these people. Who do you think would?
I think you should interview the back because like
yeah.
they're a very cool, smart individual.
Okay.
Also, a Western account that I think should exist is I think someone should make WW Enderman, where they just edit like a Minecraft Enderman into random places on campus and then caption it like, guys, don't look, there's an Enderman that spawned in over here.
Create videos, like run up to people like, don't look behind you, don't look behind you.
Just freak people out. Like,
It would be so easy to make those posts. I don't know.
No, that just reminds me of like, I forget, there's like the Barb's account with like Nicki Minaj like being placed, or
That's
like Phoebe
great.
Bridgers.
That's great.
Yes.
But it's like the WW Enderman. I love that idea. I feel like,
We all love Minecraft.
yeah, I was gonna say everyone
Yeah.
loves Minecraft, so like that's perfect. That's great. Well,
Community Minecraft LAN party.
I mean,
Everyone at WW.
they can spawn in anywhere. Also, another thing I want is somebody to organize a giant game of Capture the Flag across all of campus, just while I'm on camera here speaking to the people. And
speaking to the people.
the
Get your
last
ideas
thing
out.
is I need to know if the bell in Miller is real, because I just need to know that. I'm sorry. If anyone knows if the bell in Miller is real, please contact me. My Instagram is at WWUaffirmations. Thank you. This is really important. Yeah.
A little
That's
plug,
all.
the Miller Hall. Well, yeah, I mean, you already kind of said it, but you can follow oh my god, it's always so hard. The WWU Affirmations on Instagram. And then, are you on anywhere else, or is it just Instagram, right?
Yeah, just Instagram.
Okay, yeah, so follow them. We love to see it. I think it's great. I feel like I've gained so much more insight knowing that you're a graphic design major because I feel like it hits even more.
Yeah.
You know? And like,
I mean,
I love the design. I feel like my favorite part about the account is just specifically the designs too. Like, it's too good. I love the little font. Like, I'm imagining it in my head right now. So
Also, like,
awesome.
it adds so much, like you're putting work into
Yeah,
it. Like,
exactly.
you care. You
Thank
care
you.
so
For the
much
people.
about it.
I really
Yeah.
try. I feel like it's been like a way for me to like learn how to make art and content specifically for other people, but also for myself at the same time, which is like a really hard, like, I don't know, like, I think that's something that a lot of like creatives like struggle with, is like creating art that honors like their own experiences, but also will connect with other people. Like, you don't want to pander too much just to an audience because you're not going to be like being true to yourself then, but also you can't just make art that is like extremely just about your own experience, or you can, but like it's not going to connect with people in the same way as art that's going to have like a bigger outreach. So this has given me a good opportunity to learn, like, I don't know, like what experiences I've had that I can connect with other people about. I don't know. Does that make sense at all?
No, a perfect mixture of it, because you want to make sure that you're like you're doing what you love, but you're also doing something that other people might love. But you've got to make sure that you're staying true to like yourself.
Yes.
True. That's the takeaway. Stay true to yourself.
Artists.
Someone create an Enderman West account. I mean,
Is
honestly,
the bell real?
And
is
let me
the
know if the
bell
bell is real.
Yeah, and stay true to yourself. Be art. I feel like you did a good definition of
Yes.
like what art is, right? Like the meaning.
I
for it.
am art.
Yeah. WWUaffirmations is art. Well, at the end of that, I feel like we gotta do a little fist bump, right? Right? We did it with the last one. Okay, ready? Woo! Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the end of our podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, go follow WWUaffirmations. Answer the questions that they asked too, because those are super important. And maybe,
Also hire me.
Yeah.
If you need a graphic designer, hire me.
Yeah, and someone make the capture the flag game a thing.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see the back. That's a little manifestation. Maybe we'll get them on here. So, yeah,
be
thank
cool.
you so much for coming on this
Thank
podcast. It was a
you.
real treat, and
It
like
was really fun.
I think, yeah, I'm just so happy that like you put in so much work. You're for the people.
Thank you
We
so
love
much.
to see it. All right, y'all. This is Wavelength. That's WWUaffirmations. Sign it off. Bye. Wavelength is a program of the Associated Students of Western Washington University, and we'd like to thank WWU's Digital Media Center for production support, as well as our music composer, Austin Colwell from Harbor Day. You can find a link to Austin's music in the episode description below.